Color communicates. Like this bright fluorescent orange says, whoa, watch out, danger. Well, this pale blue says, hey, don't hit me. But if you do, it's no big deal. But how you communicate color is a big deal. And that's why we have the Pantone system. And today on Shipping Things, we're going to talk about what the system is and how you can use it to avoid big surprises in your custom packaging. You may have heard a Pantone swatch being referred to as PMS. PMS stands for Pantone Matching System. There are other systems as well, like GCMI, but when it comes to the printing world, Pantone reigns supreme. Let's get big picture. The Pantone system is the closest thing to a single source of truth we have to talk about color around the whole world. Think about how hard it is to describe a color like this. It's a light, misty yellow with a dash of pink. Well, 120727 is much easier. It means the same thing in Canada, United States, Mongolia, Iran. It's crazy, guys. How did people communicate about color before Pantone? It's the new millennia, so you're probably starting out your design process on a screen of some type. One way to avoid surprises is to get the color looking how you want it to on your screen and then actually use the Pantone book to match and find the right swatch from there. This not only saves you a lot of time, but it also really reduces the room for error. Remember that your design will look different from screen to screen. There are fancy screen calibrator machines, but even so, you should believe that the design will look one way here and another way on someone else's computer. Which is why you always need to trust the book. Whatever the color swatch is that you see on paper here is what you're going to get in your final result. These books are a little pricey. Pantone puts them out every year and it's $155 for your set of uncoated and coated. Now, you want to make sure you replace them fairly regularly because the Pantone swatches can fade, and once they fade or the color shifts, they're basically irrelevant. Your printer is going to be working off the exact same books, so you want to make sure yours matches what they're working with. Now let's take a closer look at these swatches. There are literally thousands of them. And the Pantone system has so many different applications. There's even a big textile Pantone book where all the swatches are fabric. But in our world, there's two big designations to be aware of. They end in a C and a U, and it stands for coated and uncoated. Coated means that the ink is going onto a glossy surface and can look very different than when you print it onto a matte surface. Both of these boxes are printed using the same color. This one on a coated stock and this one on uncoated corrugated. It really brings your attention to why it's so important to tell your printer whether you're using coated or uncoated color. There's another thing to make this even more complicated. Take a look at this box, also printed using the same color, but on craft colored corrugated instead of white. And you can see that the same color again actually turned out a little warmer. So it's really important to take into account what material you're printing on, and not just the material's color, but also what the material itself is like. Take tissue paper as an example. This tissue paper will look really different over different materials. I'll show you. If you put this over a white box here, the color is vibrant, similar to how it looks in the Pantone book. But if you put it over a craft box, the material takes on and the color takes on a completely different character. If you have a couple extra weeks in your timeline, you may be able to request a print sample of your ink color on your material. That's called a color drawdown, and it's a great way of ensuring that you like not only your color, but exactly how it's going to look on your finished product. After you've done your part and picked the perfect Pantone swatch for your job, the burden is on your printer to get as close as humanly possible to your selection. Humanly possible being the operative term. Because no matter how many fancy machines and calibrators and ink mixing machines are involved in this process, at the end of the day, there's someone with the Pantone book matching it by eye to what you've selected. Now, without Pantone, even though it's not this perfect system, color can be way worse. It's like a game of color telephone. Hello? Yes, okay, so you've like your box mauve. Would you describe that more as like a purpley gray or purple blue? I've got a Pantone book here. $6.94 looks kind of similar to what I selected. Oh, you don't have a Pantone book? Okay. Would you prefer it to be like, would you describe it as like